Hello, this is Tim Law with Playing It Forward Coaching and Self-Reliant You. Always remember your dreams, your goals, your career are all essential. Whatever your mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Big thank you to over 370 people that have subscribed to this channel, Playing It Forward Coaching. If you haven't already, please do so. We'd love to have you joining us. Got some great interviews coming up. I have a wonderful young man I got to know several years ago as he was beating up my guys in tennis. He's Hunter Jones from Dallastown. I don't know if anybody that knows tennis in the area knows that Dallastown's kind of the big dog. And anyway, but a great young man here. So welcome, Hunter, and tell us a little bit about yourself, your story, your what you're doing and everything.
Yeah. Hey there, Coach Law. Thanks for having me. So everyone, my name's Hunter. I graduated from Dallastown 2017. Was a tennis player all 4 years, and I am a 2021 graduate of good old Penn State. And I got to know Coach Law, believe it or not, freshman or sophomore year of high school. I was at the Park City Mall, and I was wearing my Dallastown varsity jacket.
And I remember this. I remember this.
Yeah, I was sitting outside the store, and he recognized it and came over and said, "You play tennis for Dallastown?" He said, "I'm in the area. My nephew runs Weishaven Tennis Center. Do you know Phil Myers?" And I've been playing tennis for a long time, and that started a nice friendship that had a good relationship with Coach Law throughout all of my years of high school, and ever since, in multiple ways, with on the court, off the court, working, not working, watching tennis. It's been good to get to know you over the years.
Yeah, well, thank you, Hunter. And I do remember that over there at over at the Park City Mall and everything very, very well. And ironically, when I saw that, because I'm good friends with your coach, some guy named Mark Koons, who's done pretty well over there, as we all know. As soon as I saw that, I figured, well, I got to find out who this guy is and everything, So, but it was you gave a great first impression, and I was always impressed on how you conducted yourself with class and great sportsmanship on the courts and everything. So definitely a good thing. So tell us a little bit about your time up there at Penn State, Hunter, and your major. We were talking off camera here, and it is a mouthful, but it sounds like a great, very, very useful, marketable degree.
Yeah, so I just graduated with a degree in biorenewable systems. I specialized in agricultural systems management and had a minor in off-road equipment. Basically, in short, I would describe it as farming and business farming. So I've tried to pick a good school. First of all, Penn State, known for agriculture. I couldn't be anywhere else that was any better for working on tractors, farming equipment, all kinds of stuff like that. But I am very excited for where that degree can take me. I don't have anything set up currently, but can go into business, and the big focus of everything I studied was management as well. So I got a full dose of everything with the agricultural academic side, but I've had all kinds of experiences up there, albeit different with COVID this past year, but very involved with music up there and in various Penn State orchestras as well. And sports never left. At a Division I school, I wasn't quite Division I caliber athlete like my old doubles partner was, but
some guy named Holden Koons, I think you're talking about. Yeah. He's not bad. He's not bad.
Yeah, so I wasn't quite his level, but being at Penn State afforded me all kinds of opportunities. I mean, as a Division I school, you're not playing varsity athletics, but intramural sports and club sports have been really big for me. I was a member of clubs tennis up at school, and actually club golf as well. And involved in all kinds of intramural sports. And then I work for our competitive sports program at school as well. I was a sports official for a couple years and finished out my time as a competitive sports supervisor. So working with any kind of sports, and that's probably one of the coolest experience I had at college.
Yeah, I don't doubt that at all. What now? Tell us a little bit about your musical background too, Hunter, because I know you're quite accomplished in that area, which is, I have a lot of respect for that, because a lot of times you'll see that people just go toward sports or they'll go toward orchestra, but to try to do both, I mean, it takes a tremendous level of commitment and certainly talent. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, commitment and time. Time's a big one as well. So at Dallastown, I started in the strings program back when it started in third grade. Unfortunately, with budgets and things, we fought to keep it third grade. Now Dallastown doesn't start string instruments until fourth, but I was one of the third grade beginners, and I started on the double bass, where I can't tell you how many times people said, "Oh, you play the cello." I said, "No, the one that's even bigger." Um, and my mom was not a fan of lugging that thing around growing up, but I'm very fortunate that we had an SUV. And yeah, started in third grade, played up through middle and high school. And I was fortunate to study under the great David Deal. He was the Dallastown orchestra director who unfortunately passed away last fall. But I had him for an entire decade. And the Dallastown music program is very highly regarded and pumps out musicians left and right, mainly on your violins and cellos. So I was fortunate to be a solid bass player for the program. And yeah, I started studying privately with his name's Mr. Botterbush. Traveled to Gettysburg once every 2 weeks, quite a trek for a bass lesson. But slowly got better. And just like sports, you have your districts and your regional state tournaments for sports. It's the same way for music. They do PMEA festivals. And my senior year, I tried out and I went the whole way through districts. I made it to regionals, made it to states, qualified for the state level, and I ended up being ranked 8th in the state on my instrument.
Wow, that's
So
impressive.
I was very proud. It was one of those cool things to see how you transition from third grader who, learns to play jingle bells, and then you get to play some real big things once you get to the high levels.
Absolutely. No, that's obviously, as you said, it takes a lot of time and dedication, without a doubt. What were some of the lessons that you learned, either from sports or from, your discipline as far as, playing an instrument, Hunter?
Well, I think the first thing you say about time management's big. And it applies just to both sports and music. Finding the time to practice, to improve is the biggest thing. With the instrument, it's, you start off with 15 minutes a day, finding that time to carve out in your schedule and practice. And then slowly you see your results. And the same thing goes with sports and tennis. And I actually played 3 sports in high school, was on the golf team for a year, basketball and tennis. And for each of those things, I mean, unless you're practicing an hour or 2 a day, you're not getting any better. And it's still something I find to this day, committing yourself. I don't play as much tennis anymore, but during the summer, when you commit the time to it, you can improve. And commitment and time basically are the 2 biggest things I found with both of that, but also sticking with something. If you struggle, I mean, I can't tell you how many instrumentalists I saw in my first few years playing music that, this is too hard. I don't have the time, to stick with it for that long. The rewards are worth it.
Yeah, certainly agree there. And and obviously, I've been involved with a lot of coaching. I coached wrestling up until about 5 years or so ago. And what's interesting is the lessons you learn. And I don't care if somebody's playing sports or whatever. I like to see kids being involved in school, whether it's sports, band, music, extracurricular activities. Get involved. You never know what kind of talents you may have that'll actually come out there. So I certainly applaud you for all those efforts and everything. Any favorite memories from let's say high school or college, Hunter, that you'd like to share with us here?
Well, I guess if we're still on the topic of sports, one of my favorite tennis memories, and it wasn't even in a match that my team won. It was my sophomore year of high school. We played in districts over at Hershey. Who did we play? We played Central Dauphin. And as you're well aware, at district matches, a lot of them, once team reaches their 3 points, they call the match and it's over. I, for one, like to finish out and continue to compete. And we had played Central Dauphin, and it had come to a 2-2 tie, and then, they were up 2-1, and then they went up 3-1. And they allowed me to finish my match because I had won the first set 7-5 and lost the second set 6-3. And I was down 4-0 in the third set. And they said, "Oh, you can finish it."
Thinking you were just going to lose quickly.
Yes, exactly. And my opponent went up 5-0. And it was one of those, hey, as you're aware, your players, when your back's against the wall, you've got nothing to lose. That's when you sometimes find what you're made of. And I went for it and started playing a heck of a lot better. And they regretted their decision to let us finish because I came through 7-5 in the third set, and that match lasted total of 3 hours.
Wow. Wow. Oh, that's fantastic. What a great memory that is for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those fun ones, all that time on the court. But there's plenty of other ones from success at counties in high school, and then in college, just getting the chance to continue to play.
Mhm.
My sister also attends Penn State with me, Taylor,
Yes.
and she's also a member of club tennis. And we were able to play in 2 different mixed doubles tournaments up at school. And so it's nice to be able to continue, have her play with me. And I might not be the level I once was, but to continue to play, it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and Taylor, I've already talked to you about her. She's actually running our tennis. She and Morgan are actually running our tennis program over there at Dallastown this year for Tennis for Kids. And she's just phenomenal. I've just been so impressed with her organization and everything like that. She continually asks questions, and she's just very, very impressive. That's for sure. And it's great that you two have such a close bond and a close relationship. That's fantastic. Any other last thoughts or advice kind of before we kind of close things up here a little bit, Hunter, uh, that you would give advice to, let's say, freshmen, sophomores coming up, juniors, let's say in high school, as far as, going forward, as far as their school, world of work, military, whatever.
Yeah. So as I've mentioned, I've been involved with music and sports and all kinds of things, but academics I took really seriously as well. And the word that I find that applies to high school and college is marketability.
Mhm.
Um, when you're graduating college, you're trying to have a company hire you, you're trying to market yourself to them. High school is the same thing, you're just marketing yourself to colleges.
Mhm.
And I think having the ability to take difficult classes helps challenge yourself with that, but filling the extracurriculars, like you mentioned, is important as well. I think
Mhm.
the more you do, the more you learn about yourself and the more you show someone that you're capable of. Taking one track is good if you're specialized at it, but having that diversity helps. So in high school, try out for that musical if you want to. If you think you want to continue playing an instrument, keep going. If you want to give something a try, do that as well. And sports too. I mean, I'm not a great golfer, but I gave golf a try and played for a year. And I played basketball and tennis and had all of these different opportunities that now's your chance to try things and learn what's out there and learn what you're good at.
Yeah. Well, that's just super. And what's interesting, Hunter, is some of the other interviews that I've had. I'm hearing that, especially with a lot of the college students, that just be willing to try, because you just never know how it may end up for you. And I just think it's real solid advice. And one of the things that I always encourage, a great way to get ahead in this country is get yourself a marketable skill. And this is what you're saying. Uh, have some people skills, be willing to have a work ethic, which obviously sports and band music, extracurricular things does. Go the extra mile, and just be a team player. And if you'll do those things, you can do very, very well in our system over here. That's for sure. So.
Yep, I would agree with you there. And one other thing to add is just the personal relationships. If
Mhm.
you see someone wearing a Dallastown varsity jacket and willing to have a conversation, you never know what relationships you can build.
I love
And
it.
the
Love it. Love it.
more people you talk to, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm glad we had that conversation those, oh gosh, 4 years ago now, probably, Hunter, or well, no longer than that, actually, probably 7 years ago. And, but yeah, it was, believe me, the pleasure was mine for sure. So, appreciate it very much. If you could just hang for a minute or two when we get finished here, I'll get you beyond the recording. But thank you, Hunter. This has been super.
Sure thing. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.